Hello, worldo. This is Gemini Wolfstar Gaming. It's Anton Savetin, and I wanted to make this a little announcement video because of a shift that's going to happen in a couple of weeks. Because in a couple of weeks, on May 12th, Directive 8020 releases, which I'm really excited for. And I want to cover it pretty much right away. I don't want to do what I did with the previous Dark Pictures games and like wait a long time after it's been released to actually cover it. When I have the game, the plan is for me to record the first episode and subsequent episodes on Wednesdays and have the episode out for Friday as normal, really. Just the shift is with me adding in Directive 8020 into the mix while also covering Inescapable. I'll be covering two video games at the same time. Something of which I haven't done in a super long time, but I don't want to wait super long to cover Directive 8020. So that's my plan. And of course, as a result of doing a Directive 8020 for Fridays, that will mean Inescapable will be reduced down to 2 episodes a week instead of the usual 3. So I wanted to make sure I made this a video because of that change coming up pretty soon. I wanted to let you guys know so that you're not like surprised at the sudden change and why there's only like 2 episodes going up for Inescapable. So I've been thinking about it a lot. So as far as that goes, that is the complete plan going forward until I'm done with Directive 8020, and then Inescapable will be going back to 3 episodes a week as normal. While I'm at it, while I have you guys here, I figure I might as well announce what the next game I plan on covering after Inescapable. So I've put a lot of thought into it. My original plan after Inescapable was to cover the horror visual novel Deathmark. But then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh wait, that'll be 4 visual novels in a row. Because, Inescapable is a visual novel. Before that was Nirvana Initiative, the Somnia Files Nirvana Initiative. And then before that was Clannad. And so I'm like, wait, let me shift this around, change it a little bit to where I'm not going to be like burned out on covering 4 visual novels in a row, and also not to burn you guys out as well. I when I realized that, I was like, oh, I should really change that up. So my plan now, after Inescapable, is to do a JRPG. And I've decided on one of the Final Fantasy games. For the past 10 years, I've been taking everything Final Fantasy VII in, from the original game to the remakes and to the original game's sequels and prequel. Sequel. There's only one sequel, and not to mention Advent Children. Like watching that. So I've mainly focused on that as far as Final Fantasy goes. Although a few years ago, I did wind up playing the very first Final Fantasy game before I even started Let's Playing. But as far as the rest of the games go for Final Fantasy, I'd actually I would really like to uh, cover each of them. So finally getting around to like saying what Final Fantasy game I'm gonna cover after Inescapable, it's gonna be Final Fantasy 9. And from what I understand, it's a fan favorite. And I kind of sort of know one of the characters, Vivi, uh, but primarily from Kingdom Hearts. That has me excited to actually get around to playing the game that Vivi's from. But yeah, I thought I'd go kind of old school. I mean, one of the things I'd like to do is get into a little more retro gaming. So I thought Final Fantasy 9 would be a good starting point with that. I mean, the game is over 20 years old now, so I I'm not entirely sure, but that's considered retro, right? That's my plan. When I am done with Inescapable, I'm gonna really be looking forward to sitting down to play 9 and find out its story and its other characters other than Vivi. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And as for the other Final Fantasy games, I would like to cover each of them, uh, probably except for 3, mainly because the copy that I have is for the DS, and from what I've read online, is that version is generally disliked. And besides, I have no way to record any games off of my 3DS. I mean, sure, I could do emulation, but I'd I'd rather play the games that I play on uh, on hardware. That's just the way I roll with my Let's Playing. And not to mention, I don't have a, a proper gaming computer to do like online gaming, like off of Steam. So that that's out of the picture. But maybe sometime in the future that will change. Going back to Directive 8020 coming out soon. So I did get a little curious, and I looked up to see if the curator is going to be in Directive 8020. And from what I read, uh, the curator isn't going to be a huge presence in the game, which is very odd and also unfortunate. So I really wonder what they have planned for him, like after Directive 8020. From what I read, someone at Supermassive said that the curator's office, his repository as he calls it, just doesn't fit in the sci-fi setting of Directive 8020. So I when I read that, I was just like, okay. With what I got into my head after I read that, I was like, well, you could have done things a little differently. I mean, like, we don't know exactly where his office is located. I mean, yeah, we see him walk down the hallways to his office, but we have no idea where it actually is. It's like, is it in a mansion, or is it just a room cut off from time or something? Like, that's just my little theory, I guess. But what I was thinking, what they could have done was they when he enters his office at the very beginning and is like, "Hello, I'm the curator," and this is takes a long pause, and all of a sudden you see his repository shift and mold into in a sci-fi setting, as if his office turned into an office on the ship that is in Directive 8020, like a hidden area of it. I think that would have been cool, but I kind of wish I was part of Supermassive to give them that idea. I also do kind of wonder if the part of the reason why the curator isn't a big presence in Directive 8020 is due to the fact that uh, the curator's likeness, the actor who he looks like, had passed away. Now a couple of years ago, I believe it was 2024 that he passed away, Tony Pankhurst, which I was sad to hear. That really saddened me to hear that. So as far as the series goes, so with the curator, with Tony Pankhurst now passing on, I feel like the only way that they would be able to keep the curator going is to go into their archives and use Tony Pankhurst's footage from there instead of doing it with him, because they can't anymore, of course. So it just makes me sad thinking about it. It's like, rest in peace, Tony Pankhurst. Pip Torrens, who does the mocap and the voice, it brings so much life to him. But of course, without his voice, there wouldn't be a visual to the curator if it weren't for Tony Pankhurst's likeness. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention with covering Final Fantasy IX, I have the feeling that I'll still be working on that when the third installment of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 comes out, because it's supposed to come out next year, and I wouldn't hold it past Square Enix to release the final third part of this trilogy on the exact same date as the original Final Fantasy VII game, which I had to look this up, which is January 31st. So I'm half expecting the third installment to come out on that date, 30 years to the date of the original game. Honestly, that would be amazing. So with me covering Final Fantasy IX after Inescapable, I may wind up juggling covering Final Fantasy IX and the third installment of VII's remake. I know that's far into the future at this point right now, but I wanted to put that out there. Now to wrap things up, I'm looking forward to the games that I'm going to cover. Of course, I have games planned in the future as well. Even though that I have planned games to play, I don't mind taking recommendations as well. I mean, I have a lot of games in my backlog, so I may have a game already that one of you may recommend for me to play. I mean, like the Final Fantasy games, I have all of the mainline games, and that's including like the first ones. You know, one through 6. I had gotten the first 6 Final Fantasy games before the Pixel remake came out. So as far as me doing Let's Plays of the first 6, I don't know if I want to double dip into getting the Pixel remaster, since I already have the first 6 games. So I just may like play Final Fantasy 3 on my own time. I know I'm kind of like shifting my thought processes throughout this throughout this video, but that's just sometimes the nature of my mind. I I think about one thing and then talk about it, and then I'm like, oh, I need to talk about, and then I need to talk about this. So I start talking about something else, and then I go back to what I was talking about before. It's like my mind is always busy. For the mostly in the here and now, I wanted to make this announcement video primarily for the change coming up soon. Well, shift, not change, shift. To wrap things up here, I hope you all are looking forward to, for those who are looking forward to me covering Directive 8020, I hope you look forward to me covering it, because I'm very much looking forward to playing it. The same thing with Final Fantasy IX, when I get around to that. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you may be.